My name is Kalyn Johnson Chandler, and I'm the founder and creative director of Effie's Paper, Stationery, and whatnot. I've always been a creative person, but couldn't really figure out what I was going to do as a grown-up that would be creative and also earn a living. So going to law school wasn't my initial plan. I originally went to policy school, and I wanted to go into education policy. While I was in policy school, going to law school seemed like it would be a great complement to my policy degree. And then I got to law school, and at that point had a lot of debt and realized maybe I should practice law for a little while and learn how to be a lawyer. I had a good friend who was segueing from the practice of law to television, and he needed some help getting his clothes together. So it was a great way for me to start my creative process outside of the office, so to speak. My decision to leave the practice of law was, I'm going to leave what I've been doing and where my comfort has been for the past 10 or so years. I'm going to take some time off and figure out what my next steps are. I just didn't have the time as a practicing lawyer to, I didn't have the luxury of having the time to sit back and really think about how I'm going to make this segue. I was fortunate in that I'd saved up some money, and my now husband, then boyfriend, was also quite supportive of the move, and so I figured I had a pretty good safety net to help me make that transition. The impetus for my styling business was to really focus on law firms and young lawyers, helping them learn to navigate office fashion politics. And then unfortunately, in 2008, the market crashed, and so lots of law firms that at one point in time had discretionary funds to spend on seminars or to bring somebody like myself in to talk with their young associates about something that wasn't necessarily a tangible skill, really began to scale back. And that's when I had to revamp my angle, which then became to really focus on professionals, people like myself who were in the workplace, who knew that they needed to look good, didn't necessarily have the time, or just didn't quite know how to get to that point. I love stationery. I should own a stationery company. And it was really as simple as that. The name Effie's Paper was a no-brainer. My grandmother's name was Effie, and my grandmother is the person who introduced me to stationery and helped to foster my love of stationery. She worked for a company when I was a kid called the Mitchell Greeting Company. So she always brought stationery home for my sister and I to use. We always had loads of cards and stationery and notepads. Segueing from styling to stationery may not seem like the most logical step. I look at it as a very logical step, because having personal stationery or personalized stationery or stationery that is aesthetically pleasing is really just another accessory that we have. You know, people pay attention to the purses that they carry, the shoes that they wear, the jewelry that they wear, because they believe, and I agree, that it says something about you and your personality. I'm inspired, believe it or not, by just about everything. A beautiful fabric, amazing scenery. Traveling is a huge inspiration for me. I'm designing for someone who wants something that's unique, interesting, not run-of-the-mill, who is looking for something that's modern, creative, clean, and I can't worry so much about what my competitors are doing or how they're doing it. Obviously, I want to remain and be competitive. I want to be a part of the conversation, but I want to make sure that I create products that are going to make my heart leap, because I know if they make me feel that way, there's going to be at least another, hopefully, hundreds of other women and or men who look at what I'm doing and decide it's something that they must have. I'm looking forward to walking into Target one day and seeing some of our wholesale designs there. That's kind of my dream. I love Target style. I'm all about it. And then being a part of boutiques in my neighborhood, that's really important to me. I would love for Effie's Paper to be represented kind of at all levels, high and low, because that's what we're about.